In this video, I'm going to go over how you can pass the CompTIA Network Plus in 14 days and also understand the underlying concepts in 14 days, not just remote memorization. That's an important thing. By the end of it, you will have a better understanding of not only how to pass the Network Plus, but also how to study for other IT exams. This video is actually based on Ali Abdal's How to Study for Exams Masterclass, a Scientific Evidence Approach. And it smashes the whole education system, basically. I love it. So reading the book and rereading the book is highly ineffective. Not read and reread the book. It's a terrible way to study. It's highly inefficient and it takes up way too much time. So I'm going to go over his strategy, but I'm going to share how I used it to pass the Network Plus in 14 days. And so let's begin this video into two parts. Number one is understanding. You need to know the forest for the trees. So you need to have a scope of exactly what you're going to do before you start memorizing the details. You need to understand the concepts. And networking is so important in any IT niche that you choose, whether that be cloud, cybersecurity, maybe you're going to become a software developer. You need to know networking and how the internet transmits data from one computer to another. So the second part of this strategy is remembering. This is when you're actually going to memorize the details. But memorizing the details without knowing the concepts is completely pointless, and do not do this. Don't do this. So day 0, you are going to scope the subject. I strongly suggest getting the Network Plus CompTIA book by Daryl Gibson, I believe. It might be Mike Myers, and then going through it and scoping the subject. So briefly read through it, and then understand the concepts, right? So you know what you're getting into. You see the end in sight. You're like, all right, look at the objective assessment found on the CompTIA and be like, oh, all right, this is good. So that should spend you should spend about 5 to 6 hours on that. Next, you're gonna want to watch videos. Now, I suggest videos over reading because honestly, they're more entertaining, and then you also get that person's knowledge. So I suggest Professor Messer's Network Plus CompTIA. They're free, they're all on YouTube. Just look him up and I'll put it right here. But Professor Messer, CompTIA Network Plus. And then while you're watching this video, do not passively take notes. So this is when passive versus active learning comes in to play. So you are going to want to write questions about what he's saying. It explains what the OSI model is. You should write, what is an OSI model? Don't give yourself the answer, but if he's like, what is layer 1? What is layer 2? What is layer 7? Or what are some protocols on layer 5? Because he will go over those. So that is important. Don't passively take notes because it's honestly kind of useless, and you need to study as efficiently and effectively as possible, taking passive work. After that, the third step is going to be the active recall. Now, this is by far the number one strategy that has changed my entire life, because I used to be one of those people who would read the book. Yes, I was one of those people. And then reread the book. I just loved reading. Completely useless strategy, not effective at all. What you want to do instead of just getting all of this information is you want to recall that information and get it out. You want to space out your information that you've learned over like a set amount of time. So in this case, it'll be about a week. And Network Plus isn't a hard exam, but you do need to get these foundations down. So it's the forgetting curve, and you want to forget and then recall because it makes learning more difficult. And when learning is more difficult, you're more likely to learn, whereas if it's easy, it's kind of passive and you're not going to be really engaged. And I suggest using Anki cards for this, and there's plenty of pre-made decks. Just search Anki cards, Network Plus, and then the current version that's going on right now, and you'll find tons of networks. So during this time, you're going to want to go over your questions that you created in step 2 when you watch the Professor Messer YouTube videos. And you're going to want to go through those and see if you can answer them. And if you can't, this is where the book comes in handy. So then if you don't know what the OSI model is, you're going to go to the book that you bought or got for free or whatever, and you're going to look up the OSI model, and you're going to read in context exactly what it is. And this not only makes learning more effective, but then you just understand the concept a lot better, and then you kind of know where it plays in part of the whole thing, and you're not just memorizing facts. So it's going to take a lot of time. This isn't going to be kind of like an overnight thing. You're going to need to spend about 4 hours every day studying this for 2 weeks, and then you should be good. So the next is the Frankenman Technique. So once you have gone through the questions, you've active recalled, you're going to want to bring up that objective assessment, that Network Plus objective assessment, and you're going to want to explain these concepts to a child. You're going to want to teach other people these, so you want to clarify, simplify, and tell a story with all of these Once was asked what a DDoS attack was, and I couldn't explain it, even though I had read it, I had answered the questions right, I had watched videos, I saw it in action, but I still could not explain it. So, explaining it to a 5-year-old really clarifies and simplifies your knowledge. It also helps you with knowledge gaps. So you don't know what you don't know. So by going through that objective assessment and then identifying your knowledge gap also tells you what you should be working on. Once you have done these 4 steps, then you go to questions and answers by a third party. I highly suggest Boson questions because those will be very similar to what will be on the exam, like the same type of wording, and it also tells you why each answer choice is right or wrong, and it solidifies what exactly you are getting right and wrong. If you have done these 5 steps, not only will you pass the test because you'll probably be way over prepared and way better than most people, but you'll also have a great understanding of Networking Plus, which will help you in your IT career so much. You know networking for basically everything. The more you know networking, like the more valuable you are, and then you can learn other things and apply networking to them. You'll never be without a job. I hope you liked this video. Please like, subscribe, comment, or criticize below, and let me know what you think, or if you have any other ideas, or maybe if I need to clarify something better. And I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Bye.